This course is designed with one main goal and one main goal only. And that is to get people in an organization to have a clear understanding of how we as humans function, so that when we start interacting with those around us in the workplace, through that interaction, we will create ripple effects, we will become catalysts for change. And if there's sufficient people in an organization that goes through that change, it will start creating what we call a critical shift, which results in a cultural change. And that's the purpose of the course.
Hello and welcome back to My Safety Hub, where we delve into and explore the world of health and safety. Today, I'd like to welcome back to the platform Deon Groenewald from Action Factory to discuss the exciting new course being offered from Safety Wallet and Action Factory, the Health and Safety Culture Transformation, Mindset and Behavior Coaching course. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and please subscribe to our channel so that you can find more information that might interest you. Welcome, Deon.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Privileged to be here.
So, Deon, it's an exciting time for you and for Safety Wallet. And once I've gotten wind of the launch of this course, I decided that we needed to have a chat again so that we can explore this course in a little bit more detail. So with your permission, I'd like to jump straight into the questions.
Absolutely, please. I'm also quite excited to be here and very excited about this product. I think it's about time. It's taken many years of discussions, and a lot of work and energy and effort has been put into it. And yes, now we're at a stage to put it into the market and show people. So
Fantastic.
Exciting times.
Fantastic. So to start with, the Health and Safety Culture Transformation, Mindset and Behavior Coaching course. It's quite a mouthful. How would you say, would a course like this focused on culture transformation with elements of mindset and behavior change align with a company's health and safety goals and objectives?
I think, when we talk about health and safety, historically, if you look, especially in our country and other countries around the world, it's always been a concept that's been forced down onto people. And we're strange creatures as humans. The moment someone forces something down on us, we very often instinctively react with a bit of resistance. So, and with you guys as well, obviously we've been talking about this for many, many years. And the question was raised, how does one change that? How do we get a group of people in an organization and eventually an entire company to look at the true positives that health and safety offers? And when I say the true positives, it's really a matter of how do we get everybody involved in an organization to think the right way, to respond the correct way, to react in alignment with the health and safety guidelines, and eventually to habitually behave the correct way to ensure that not just ourselves, but everybody else around us benefits from it through the process of health and safety. So in essence, we had to really create a product where it is possible to bring about complete cultural change in an organization from, right all the way from the top, right down to the bottom, through the whole hierarchy of the organization. And that's been the challenge. And I'm very happy and I'm confident that we've achieved that. So yeah, exciting, very positive.
You've mentioned the product now. So if we get to the nitty-gritty of a few things surrounding this training, can you tell me how long would this training take? And other than that, what is the structure and the delivery methods that will be used? Is it the traditional classroom style training or is it an online course?
So before we started building the product, we obviously had to look at accessibility. We had to look at who's going to be the people that's going to want to do this course. And our major challenge was, if you look at people that are involved in the health and safety committees, team leaders, executives, managers, then to take them out of the workplace into a course. Number one, it costs money to actually do that. Number two, there's a loss of effective work hours. So we try to find a way, how can we bring this course into the marketplace without it being a disruption in any employee's day or their work hours? So what we've built is, it's an online course. So it's on a software program that's cloud-based. So literally anybody that's got access to the internet can do the course, either on a computer or on a modern cell phone. And it's drip fed. So there's a couple of reasons for this. So let me first explain what drip feed is. So drip feeding is, you get the course and there's obviously numerous hours of training involved, but you cannot take a course on a Monday and go through a whole string of lessons on the same day. It's restricted. You can only do one lesson per day. And one lesson, they all vary, anything from 20 minutes to approximately an hour per lesson. So literally what's going to happen is, an employee will obviously be registered on the course. And on a Monday, they can watch one video. Each video will obviously have a text document attached to it. Most of the lessons will have a little bit of a quiz at the end of the lesson to ensure that the person has completed it. The software measures that they've actually watched the video completely. Some of the lessons will have a little bit of a practical exercise that the employee can do throughout the day to ensure that they are prepared for the next lesson that's going to be available for the next day. So in every 24-hour cycle, they will have access to the next lesson. So the time frame to complete the course will really depend on how many days the individual spends. So if they would spend 5 working days, in other words, do one lesson a day, then they're probably looking at about 2.5 months to complete the entire course. So there's a second reason we decided to drip feed it and allow it to develop very slowly over a longer time frame. And that is, a lot of the teaching on the course is, I don't want to say too complex, but some of it does become complex. Some of it does become, I want to use the word deep, where we really delve into the way we as humans behave, how the mind functions, the relationship between the different reactions and responses we have as humans. So there's learning in there where people need to learn as powerful lesson today and allow it to sink in. They need to regurgitate and think about it throughout the day, so that when they go to the next lesson, this first one is really, really sunk in. If the learning is too fast, we know this, we've all been on courses where you run through the course and at the end of it, you've got no idea what you really learned because you just listened to the data, but you didn't really absorb much. So the way we designed this was to slowly, systematically feed information every single day, just a little extra, a little extra, a little extra, so that number one, it goes in, but number two, so that it starts bringing change in the student. So it's a coaching course. So if you really want to coach people and help other people change, then you yourself really needs to experience the change. So the course is structured, as I said, online. Someone registers, you get a login, and then you have access to lesson 1, to the quizzes, to the practicals, and systematically you work through the course. But main target is you need to change whilst you're doing the course, so that when you're finished, you can become either deliberately or just naturally become the catalyst for change to those around you.
That's interesting. I was going to ask a question now when you mentioned learning. From an education standpoint, accommodating different learning styles is important because obviously you have a range of candidates who are either auditory sensitive or visually sensitive. So they would probably learn better from those platforms. So how does the training accommodate different candidates with different learning styles?
So I think the one benefit is that I have been a trainer for quite a few years. I've got over 10,000 practical hours in my field, and I've been training people from all walks of life, from a variety of different countries, educational levels, socioeconomic groups, learning styles, different skill set levels. And what I did with this course was developed it in such a way that it is not too complex for the average person, but it won't bore the, let's call it, the fast learner either. So we found that perfect in-between balance to ensure that it's stimulating for everybody. Also, if it's delivered in short, powerful bursts every day, then there's a consistent stimulation for the learner, and they start looking forward to tomorrow's lesson. The second thing we've done is, obviously, it's a video course, so one can observe the video. There's a lot of images that explains a lot of the teaching. Each video has its own text file on screen that also runs while we teach, so a lot of people can just read instead of listening to the video. And then every lesson obviously has its own text document that's attached. So there's a full approach to the learning style. Everybody that's really made the decision that they want to learn will learn from this course.
That's interesting. I'm just thinking forward now. So if a candidate had to complete this course successfully, how would they benefit from this professionally or in their personal capacity?
All right, so it's a great question. So if someone does this course, there's a couple of things you need to realize. Number one, the course is actually built not just for health and safety coaching. It's a full coaching course. Now, the moment I say full coaching course, it is designed in such a way to teach the person to be a great coach, but it's designed to give them a focus on creating a better culture in health and safety. So I've merged both of these concepts. So from a coaching perspective, it carries its own coaching certification. And for most people, that's a great add-on to have on their curriculum. It's a great tool in the work environment. It's going to assist a lot of the students just to be great coaches. And a lot of companies are adopting coaching as a form of management and leadership style. So it will improve communication, understanding, the style in which they ask questions, how they communicate with other people around them. So in the work environment, any person that does this, it will make them a more effective employee, and it will make them a more well-rounded person, because a coaching course teaches you how to be aware of your own thoughts, to be aware of the style of communication, to be aware of different emotional states that people go through. So it raises your own emotional intelligence. So even in your own personal life, this course will have a great benefit, because there's deep understanding about human nature in the course. You know, if we look at humans, we're very complex beings in reality, and we don't come out when we're born with a user manual. There's no logbook or manual that explains to us how we should behave as humans and how we function. So what I've added in this course is a lot of understanding and deep learning about how we function as humans, how we think, how we communicate, how we decide what to communicate, why we respond and react in certain ways, why do we make certain types of choices, how does behaviors become learned behaviors. So all of these elements are built into the course. And I do believe it does make us better human beings if we have this understanding. And then secondly, obviously, let's add the concept where we looked at some of the cardinal principles in health and safety, which we've obviously brought in. So a lot of the practical techniques we teach in the course are focused on specifically health and safety. How do we assist people to have a better understanding and a better approach, so that we can bring about the cultural shift in the organization? So it's a fairly well-rounded and I want to say a multiple approach course. My personal opinion, it's one of those products where I believe anybody that does it will benefit in in the work environment and in their personal lives. So I'm extremely proud of the course.
I'm excited to see it. I mean, if I listen to what you've said now, the course contains a lot of elements that would, if I was completing the course, that will enable me to contribute towards creating a health and safety culture at any workplace. You've mentioned communication, you've mentioned working with people, knowing how you feel, how you react, knowing your own thoughts, basically positioning yourself with others. And if we put it in a health and safety context, I think a lot of employers and employees alike are aware of the challenges that exist surrounding health and safety in the workplace. So I think this course can definitely help any individual towards, at least to start with, positioning themselves so that they can influence others, change others' behaviors, maybe influence their behaviors so that they can think differently about health and safety. The question that I now want to ask, again, going back to some of the technical issues surrounding the course, is what kind of learning materials and resources will be provided during the course for candidates to complete it successfully?
So obviously they get access to the course and they can complete lessons, and there's obviously a manual involved for each lesson. And the beautiful thing about the platform is every student gets live access to the information. So once they've completed the course, they will have access. They can always go back and revisit some of the lessons, some of the modules. They can download the documents, put it into a folder, keep it, read it, make notes on it. The reason we did that was that, and from experience, because we've developed, obviously I've developed a few similar types of courses through the years. Very often students will spend some time whilst they're at the workplace, but we know that a lot of people still, we work remotely. We're not always in a work environment. So very often the students would want to spend some time at home going through some of the course material. They want to do a recap or just go visit a specific technique again. And the way it's been designed is they have got that ability. As long as they, any platform, be it a computer or a cell phone that's got internet connectivity, they can access the course. It's a link that you require, and there's a login and a password. So you can access it from any device, which is really going to make life so much easier for people. The second concept where there's a lot of learning material is one decision we made was not to finish developing the course for the next couple of years. So what we are obviously going to do is we're going to measure the results and the outcomes of people that have gone through the course. We created communities where every student will be part of the communities, where we can communicate with them directly, where they can communicate with each others. So people from a variety of different companies will have access to communicate with other students in different companies that has also gone through this course. And the reason we did that is because we want to keep our ear on the ground to see where are more needs or potential needs that we need to focus on. And as we find these needs, we will develop those lessons or modules and add it to the course. And once you've signed up, once there's an update on the course, you automatically get notified of the update and you immediately will have access to that as well. Add to that the fact that we're going to run a regular workshop. So yes, it's an online product that we're building, but we're also bringing in the human element where we will have discussions, group discussions, allowing students to come onto a platform and discuss their experience, question some of the actions and results they're getting, and have access to myself and other coaches that can expertly guide them if required. And through that process, ensure that we don't just teach people how to be great coaches in this industry, but we ensure that they become great coaches in the industry. It's got to be a process of learning, mentoring, coaching, and development over a time frame. And that's, to us, a very exciting project, obviously, that we'll actively be involved in for many years to come.
So you've covered quite a few things that I wanted to cover later on now as well. So that helps a lot. So if I can just then go to pretty much one of the most basic questions regarding this training. How does one obtain the training? How do I order this training?
So we've entered into a collaboration with Safety Wallet because we had to really draw on the expertise, the experience. My company, we are coaches, we're not health and safety experts. So we obviously, required the expertise from the people that do know. And one of the arrangements or agreements we made was that the product will be available on that platform. And I think, we can share a link for everybody to find it. And it's easy accessible. There's obviously, from Safety Wallet, there's a variety of extra bonuses and benefits that students can gain and companies can gain. So we've made it easily accessible. It's literally a matter of going in and ordering. If it's a once-off order or if it's a group order, there's a few little bit of different ways that the order process can happen. But literally from the date of order to a student having access to the course, we're talking about a maximum time frame of 24 to 48 hours. In some cases, depending on how they order, it will even be available almost immediately. And we've made it as easy as possible for people to have access to it.
I see. Thank you. Next question then. Are there any prerequisites or recommendations for an individual to have in place before they can attend this training?
Well, the only real prerequisite is the course is delivered in English. So ideally, they should have a basic understanding of English. The benefit is because the video or the course is pre-recorded. Once they're in the course and they're watching a video, there's a pause and a rewind functionality. So if there are some words they don't understand, or the English or the use of the English words a little bit too complex, it's really a matter of just pause it, find out what it means, rewind, rewatch, and continue. And that's the only prerequisite is, you need a basic understanding of English. If someone asks me what is there any other prerequisites, I would probably answer, ideally, have a passion for humanity. Because like any kind of learning, the quality of the learning is one thing, or the quality of the learning material is one thing, but there is an attitude that a student can have when they enter a course. And if your attitude is one of, this is something I want to do, then it highly accelerates the learning curve. So if someone asks me what's the prerequisite, I would say it's have a passion to make your society, your organization, and humanity a better place.
I see. So this isn't a course for individuals that would probably like an in-depth training or discussion with regard to legislation. It's not that type of training. It's very much focused on, how do I create a better work environment, a safer work environment with the people around me? I think personally it would probably be beneficial if a person does have a basic understanding of health and safety. If I can add to the question as well, just so that the expectations probably doesn't go, across the border. But I get it. It's not focused on something like legislation. It's focused on, how do I work with you to create a better workplace for us?
So if you look at health and safety generally, I mean, health and safety is a legal compliance in our country, and through that legal compliance, from there, I mean, your company does this, you'll know, there's a process where policies are created. These policies are converted into procedures and eventually manifests in practices. So that's the let's call it the legal control mechanism that's being used. This course, when we looked at it, we said we want to go over and above the legal compliance component. There's sufficient elements that speak to the legal compliance. This course is not designed to look at the legal compliance of it. This course is designed with one main goal and one main goal only. And that is to get people in an organization to have a clear understanding of how we as humans function, so that when we start interacting with those around us in the workplace, through that interaction, we will create ripple effects. We will become catalysts for change. And if there's sufficient people in an organization that goes through that change, it will start creating what we call a critical shift, which results in a cultural change. And that's the purpose of the course, to truly bring a cultural change where people choose to embrace health and safety behaviors. We literally want the legal compliance to become automatic, spontaneous, natural for employees, and not necessarily something that's forced down on them.
My final question then. I know that the course is already available on Safety Wallet's e-commerce platform, My Safety Shop, for individuals or companies that would like to pre-order. But the question is, when does the course go live? And obviously, can I have access to it?
So the course will go live at the latest date. Our target date is the 15th of May, 2023. And we're planning on making it live from that moment onwards. Obviously, like any course that gets launched, we love the concept of giving people that order a little bit earlier a little bit of a benefit, and the benefit is in the pricing. So if people do decide that they want to pre-order the course now already, there's obviously going to be a financial benefit for them. We already have a couple of organizations that are talking about, ordering quite a number and large volumes of this product, because they don't want to take just one person through it. They understand that if you're going to take a hopefully a large number of people through it, it will accelerate the cultural shift in the organization. So if people do want to buy bulk, then obviously we should give them a financial benefit for that decision. So all of those opportunities and options are made available. People can start requesting now already. They can start ordering now already. 15th of May, as it goes live, it'll go to its full pricing structure. And if you're going to wait, then that's fine, but just be aware of the fact that obviously we'll go to the full structure then.
All right. Well, I can't wait for it. And I think from what we've covered today, and especially from what I've learned about the course behind the scenes, I think it's going to make a big difference out there. I think once it starts taking root, and if people start using the skills that the course will impart, changes will be made.
Yeah.
And like you've mentioned, as long as you have a love for the people around you or for your community, that change will happen. Thank you very much for your time today. I enjoyed this discussion thoroughly, and I look forward to meeting with you again for the launch date, which we will then be having a live session on My Safety Hub to answer a few questions from the public, which we may not have covered today. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
It's been a pleasure talking to you again, Ockert. And I want to add one last statement, if I may, and that is, there's one thing that I'm absolutely convinced of, and that is that anybody that does this course will learn something they didn't know before, and they will experience a personal shift. And that's what we attempted. That's what we wanted. And now that the course has been constructed and built, I am absolutely convinced and very, very pleased to say students will learn and they will experience change. If there's enough people in the organization that does this, cultural shift is inevitable. It will come. So very excited. Great product. And I think it's going to I know it's going to bring a change in the whole health and safety industry around South Africa and eventually the rest of the world. So it's great to be one of the first to do this.
Thank you, Deon. I appreciate it. Thank you for joining us today on My Safety Hub. Please subscribe to the channel and like this video if you enjoyed the content. If you have any questions with regards to the live webinar, which will be hosted on the 15th of May, please post those questions below now so that we can address them during that session. Bye-bye.